The smartest person in the room almost never gets promoted. And if that sentence annoys you, you're probably the person I'm talking about. Because almost every company has this pattern. The most competent person stays stuck in the same role for years, while someone less skilled keeps moving up. Most people think they know why. Politics. Connections. The system is broken, but those are descriptions, not explanations. Because inside every organization, there are actually two different games being played. Most analytical people are excellent at the first game, and completely blind to the second. This video is about that second game. You think working harder and being the smartest person in the room gets you promoted? Wrong. There's a guy at your company. He's not the most technically skilled person in the room. He gets things wrong in meetings. You've caught it. He talks more than he delivers. He got promoted. You didn't. And the worst part isn't that it happened. The worst part is, you still don't understand why. Not really. You've told yourself the story. He's good at politics. He knows the right people. The system is broken. All of that might be true. But those are descriptions, not explanations. This video is the explanation. Here's what most people get wrong when they think about promotions. Status, and who gets taken seriously. They think it's about performance. It's not. Performance is the entry ticket. It gets you in the building. But once you're in the building, a completely different set of rules determines who moves up. And if no one told you what those rules are, you've been playing the wrong game. Competently, diligently, and invisibly. The reason this happens is something I call the competence trap. But before we get there, there's a much bigger misunderstanding about how status actually works. Here's the brutal truth. Nobody tells you. Your brain is stuck in school mode. You think if you get the right answers, the teacher will give you an A. There is no teacher. The better you do your job, the more people trap you in it. You become the task guy. And once you are the task guy, nobody sees you as a leader. You become load-bearing infrastructure. Essential, reliable, and completely stuck. Organizations are not designed to reward people who are irreplaceable at their current level. They reward people who signal capacity for the next level. The guy who got promoted over you didn't win by being a master at his job. He won because he is perfectly fine operating in the dark. He is perfectly fine grabbing the spotlight. He is perfectly fine talking confidently about things he only half understands. You'll call that faking it. The company calls it leadership potential. These behaviors have nothing to do with your IQ. And here is the brutal irony. The harder you work at being perfect at your current tasks, the more you prove you belong exactly where you are. At the bottom. And once you understand this, you'll start noticing the same pattern in every organization you've ever worked in. Welcome to the signal economy. Here's the rule that breaks every logical brain. Your actual competence is completely irrelevant to your status. Status is not based on the code you write, the data you process, or the hours you work. It is based purely on the broadcast you emit. You are a product, and right now, you have a brilliant engineering team. But your marketing department is dead. This isn't me being negative. It's just how the human brain works. Here's what they don't see. The 11 p.m. nights you pulled to fix that bug before launch. The 37 books you read to master your craft, and the quiet humility of never taking credit. They don't see any of it. Here's what they do see. You, in the meeting, head down, typing notes while he's making eye contact, silent while he's thinking out loud, even when he's wrong, and waiting to be certain while he's comfortable being approximate. Their brain runs a split-second scan, not of your work, but of your presence, and assigns you a rank. And here's what the scan says about you. Executive, high reliability, low autonomy potential. That's not an insult. That's a cognitive shortcut, and it's running in your manager's brain right now, without them even knowing it. You think accuracy updates the rank. It doesn't. Pattern updates the rank. And if your pattern is head down, precise, deferential, output focused, the model labels you executor. That pattern screams one thing. Leave me here. I'm perfect where I am. So what signals actually move the needle in the status model? I'm gonna give you 3. These are not soft skills tips. These are behavioral mechanics. Signal 1. Narrating your uncertainty. High-status people in organizations don't just deliver answers. They think out loud. Even when they don't know the answer. They say, "I don't have the full picture, but here is my logic." That exact phrase hacks the listener's brain. It screams executive function, metacognition, leadership. Analytical people hate this. You wait until you are 100% certain to speak. To everyone else, this looks exactly like absence. You're invisible until you're reactive. Signal 2. Claiming space before you've earned it. There's a specific behavior that high-status people exhibit in meetings. They speak early, even when they don't have the most information. They ask the first question. They frame the problem before others do. This is not about being loud. It's about territory. In a primate troop, the alpha doesn't speak most. They speak first, and they set the frame. Every subsequent conversation happens inside their frame. Plot twist. You're waiting to earn the right to speak. They're claiming the territory before the map is even drawn. When you wait for the perfect moment, you've already conceded the frame. Signal 3. Tolerating ambiguity publicly. The most reliable marker of leadership potential across research, across organizations, is comfort with ambiguity. But here's the thing. Comfort with ambiguity doesn't mean you feel comfortable. It means you don't collapse the ambiguity prematurely. You sit in Italiano, you reason through it, out loud, in front of people. Analytical minds typically do the opposite. They run the full calculation internally, then deliver the output. That's more efficient. It's also invisible. An invisible cognition doesn't register in the status model. Watching someone take the long route to solve a problem out loud physically hurts your efficient brain. You want to just deliver the answer. But while you're calculating in silence, they're leading out loud. An invisible cognition equals 0 status. And once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. You're not being overlooked because you lack skill. You're being overlooked because your behavioral signals scream excellent worker B. This isn't a personality flaw. It's a signal problem. Stop performing for a system that grades on visibility, not accuracy. You don't have to become someone you're not. You just have to realize the game has 2 layers, and you've only been playing 1. That is not a competence problem. It is a signal problem. And signal problems have solutions, not motivational ones. Behavioral ones. The 3 signals I described: narrating uncertainty, claiming space early, tolerating ambiguity publicly. These are not personality changes. They're behavioral overlays. They can be practiced. They can be applied selectively. They don't require you to become someone you're not. They require you to understand that the game has 2 layers, and you've only been playing 1 of them. If this gave you language for something you already knew, save it. And if you've seen this pattern play out at your company, the comment section is below. Tell me what it looked like. This channel isn't about self-improvement. I don't care about your morning routine. This is behavioral mechanics for the analytical mind. We decode the social friction you experience every day, but didn't have the words for. Now, let's say you fix this. You start narrating uncertainty. You claim space. You learn the signal economy. And tomorrow, you walk into a meeting and you use your brilliant analytical mind to prove a colleague mathematically, objectively wrong. And suddenly, everyone in the room hates you. Why? Because analytical people suffer from the ultimate cognitive blind. They think arguments are about accuracy. They're not. They are about alignment. In my next video, I'm going to explain the accuracy penalty and why being right is the fastest way to lose the room. If you want the breakdown, subscribe. If you prefer to keep losing arguments to people no smarter than you, keep scrolling. See you in the next one.